Coming up on today's show, we'll talk about whether or not the Baltimore Ravens should be in the trade market for Dallas Cowboys quarterback Trey Lance, this guy right here. We will also get you the latest report out of ESPN on Nate Wiggins and how he impressed over the course of the offseason, most recently in mandatory minicamp. All that and more coming up on this edition of the program. I am merely Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. And in case you missed it, Fox Sports NFL analyst Mark Schlereth over the weekend, he declared the Ravens-Steelers rivalry to be the best rivalry in the National Football League. Do you agree? If you do, like today's video. If not, comment and tell me why you don't believe it is. Let us know, and we'll get started with today's show. Could Trey Lance be on his way to Baltimore? CBS Sports is suggesting that the Ravens are the top destination to land the former first-round draft pick out of North Dakota State. As in case you need a little refresher, Lance was traded to Dallas during the preseason last year and ultimately did not see the field at all. There was a thought that maybe he could be the replacement for Dak Prescott. That seems highly unlikely at this point in time. So what about him coming to Baltimore to back up Lamar Jackson? Here's more from Cody Benjamin of CBS. Johnson deserves props for his stamina, referring to Josh Johnson, entering year 17 with his record 14th different team. But at 38, with only 2 passes thrown in the last 2 seasons, he's not exactly a high upside insurance plan for the reigning NFL MVP and Lamar Jackson. Lance, meanwhile, is a relatively unknown due to his injury-stricken start with the San Francisco 49ers, but his youth, 24, and rushing ability are pluses. And the Dallas Cowboys have yet to use him behind Dak Prescott, likely lowering his price tag. Now, I'll say this. Is it going to happen? Probably not, if we're going to be frank. With the recent draft pick of Devin Leary, I would be surprised if the Ravens did add another quarterback at this point. But when you look a little further into this quarterback room with the Baltimore Ravens, it leaves a lot to be desired at this point. Yes, you have the MVP in Lamar Jackson, but Josh Johnson is just kind of meh, right? Devin Leary, I wasn't a fan of the draft pick to begin with. More on that here in just a second. Trey Lance would fit what the Ravens are looking for in their system. When you talk about a guy that is mobile, that is still very young, unproven at this point in time, to me, he kind of fits more so than what we've seen from Johnson and Leary at this point in time. And to give more context, SI Raven Country also talked about the possibility, saying the following. Still, Lance is mobile enough to work in the Ravens' offense, so maybe fit well as a backup. Dallas only had to give up a 4th-round pick to acquire him last offseason, and his price tag will likely go down after a season on the bench. Baltimore could get him for practically nothing if there is indeed interest. And we really mean that. Basically nothing. You're talking about, what, a 6th or 7th-round pick at this point to get the former number 3 overall pick? Remember, the Niners at one point in time gave up 3 number 1s. So there's something there. There's some potential. I'm willing to take a look and give a chance on this when I'm giving up basically nothing at this point in time. To me, I don't see the risk involved here if I'm the Baltimore Ravens. And the insurance policy. What if something happens to Lamar Jackson? We'll get into that here in just a second. So let's ask you, if you're Eric DeCosta, would you trade for Trey Lance? It's our pinned comment today. Type T for trade, P for pass. Let us know in the comment section below. Ravens Rundown, bringing you continuous Ravens coverage all offseason long. Mandatory minicamp in the rearview mirror, but we're not slowing down. We're counting you down to training camp with daily Baltimore Ravens coverage here on the channel. We're also bringing you our news and rumors, breaking news, mailbags, the best Ravens coverage you won't find anywhere else. If you're a true member of the flock, you got to subscribe to the channel. Join the family for the latest happenings of your favorite team all offseason long, where there is no offseason here on Ravens Rundown. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/RavensTV. More on Trey Lance. We mentioned former first-round pick out of North Dakota State by the 49ers, joined the Cowboys this past season, and they kept him as the number 3 quarterback for this past year with the Cowboys. Does not seem like he's a part of the future plans for that organization. 8 career games played with 4 starts, 2-2 record. And you look at the statistics, nothing to write home about with a career completion percentage around 55%, just short of 800 yards with 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. But hear me out on this, folks. Let's say you get to a one-game situation, all right? Lamar Jackson can't play. Are you trusting Josh Johnson over Trey Lance? Me? No. Am I trusting Devin Leary over Trey Lance? Me? Still no. Look at the resume for Josh Johnson. Let's start there, and then we'll go to Devin Leary here. Devin, you look at Josh Johnson, plenty of experience. I mean, he's been around the league longer than Dirt, and Dirt's old. I mean, 2008 fifth-round pick out of San Diego, played for a lot of teams, 39 career games played, 9 starts, 1-8 record. He has to be well-liked in the locker room to be around for this long. But then when I take it a step further, if we're going to be real honest with you, when it comes to Josh Johnson, he's shown nothing, right? I mean, realistically, there is nothing I have seen from Josh Johnson that says, you know what? If something were to happen to Lamar Jackson, we're okay. We're okay to go with Josh Johnson here. That doesn't make me feel good. I can't sleep good at night with having to turn to Josh Johnson. And the statistics take it even a step further. Career completion percentage, 58%, 13 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, 2,280 yards. At least I can say, even though the completion percentage between Johnson and Lance is about the same, is that Lance has a small sample size compared to, 17 years of sample size with Josh Johnson? And then with Devin Leary, I know that he's a big name from the college ranks, was at NC State, went to Kentucky, was the top player, top quarterback in the transfer portal last year and all that. But I'm not high on him either. In fact, the quarterback that he was when he began at NC State, compared to the quarterback that he was at the end of his career at Kentucky, he got worse. And granted, it's minicamp and OTAs and all that. He didn't look good. The reports from OTAs and minicamp, which we don't get a ton of, but we did get reports nonetheless, was he looked extremely inaccurate and struggled with turning over the football in these glorified 7-on-7 scrimmages, folks. 2024 fourth-round pick, previously played at Kentucky and NC State. A lot of college experience, 42 career games played with 39 starts, 24-15 record in college. But, I mean, I didn't feel good about him in college. If I don't feel good about him in college, why should I trust him to get the job done at the pro level if something were to happen to Lamar? Here's what we're talking about, folks. I wasn't lying to you. I wouldn't lie to you, I promise. Look back at 2021. Very good. 35 touchdowns, 5 picks. 22 touchdowns, 12 interceptions last year. Completion percentage down to 56.3. And not to mention, he had the COVID years and all that. Like, he was playing against 18-year-olds, and his numbers got worse. Here's the bottom line, all right? Let's say if the worst comes to happen, Lamar goes down, and Lamar's had some injuries over the years, so this isn't far-fetched to think about. If Lamar goes down, the Ravens will find themselves in the QB market. They will be picking up the phone and trying to figure out, all right, what the hell are we going to do now? Are we going to get Tom Brady out of the broadcast booth? Are we going to try to go get Matt Ryan out of the CBS studio? I mean, you're not going to try to make a playoff run with Josh Johnson and Devin Leary. I can tell you that much right now. So why not just go ahead and get ahead of things and go for a guy like Trey Lance? What's your confidence level in the Ravens QB room at the moment? I love me some Lamar. He's going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Beyond that, not so great, Jim. Scale it for me. What do you think? 1 through 10. Nate Wiggins jerseys are on sale now. Chatsports.com/Wiggins. A lot of excitement about the Ravens rookie. He's going to wear the number 2, so just trade out that 1 for a 2, and you get the idea. Free shipping available as well. Go see for yourself. Chatsports.com/Wiggins. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Chatsports.com/Wiggins. Speaking of Nate Wiggins, new reports after mandatory minicamp, courtesy of ESPN, ESPN, As Adam Sandler once said in that movie, what was it? The movie that he did where he had the blended family. Blended, that's what it was. Had that kid named Espen. According to Espen, he has impressed his teammates already with his debut in Baltimore. Here's more from ESPN. Wiggins can really, really run. He was the fastest defensive player at the NFL Combine. He was the fastest Ravens player in spring workouts, showing a burst and changing directions. Nobody's going to run past Nate Wiggins, Ravens linebacker Trenton Simpson said. I know that for a fact. Teammates have joked about how young Wiggins is. He won't turn 21 until August. He can't even drink yet, safety Kyle Hamilton said. If he gives up a bad play, you got to have that in the back of your mind. He can't have a Mike's Hard lemonade. Oh, poor thing. So sad. Although, when he turns 21, he can do better than Mike's Hard lemonade. Trust me. No surprise at all to hear these fantastic reports about Nate Wiggins. He has been a star this offseason for Baltimore. It's been an ongoing theme and something that we've stressed on this show with our observations and what we've learned about Nate Wiggins is that he looks wise beyond his years, that he is looking like a guy that's going to be ready to start immediately for Baltimore. And the thing that you heard about Nate Wiggins after the draft from Eric DeCosta was they weren't expecting him to be available when the Ravens picked at 30, that they talked about going receiver, but ultimately they couldn't pass up on Nate Wiggins with the run on offensive players that we saw in this year's draft. Wiggins was available, and they were thrilled to pick him up there. You add him to the mix with Brandon Stevens. Let's go, Brandon. And Marlon Humphrey. This is going to be an incredible corner room. Not to mention bringing in TJ Tampa, too. The statistics on Nate Wiggins last year, in 10 games played, 2 interceptions, 6 pass breakups. Coverage stats were really good, too, as he allowed less than 200 yards and a QB rating of 44.4. The Ravens found themselves a shutdown corner, folks. I'm telling you that right now. They found themselves that dude. Do you believe in Nate Wiggins? Are you buying into the hype like I am? I'm spamming B. I don't want to see any D's for don't. Don't be showing your D in the comment section. Let us know. B for believe, D for don't. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Ravens Rundown. If you enjoyed today's show, you know what to do. Like the video. We'd certainly appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great Monday. We'll see you next time here on the channel.